Meet Dr. Lois Lee. When she found 11-year-olds working as prostitutes in Hollywood, she took them home. She built the first drop-in center, ran street programs across the West, and created a world-class home for kids nationwide. Dr. Lois Lee didn't just start a movement, she's rescued over 17,000 kids from sex trafficking. Now she's pulling back the curtain so you can meet the kids who changed her life and hear the truths no one else will tell. Welcome to the Dr. Lois Lee Show.
This is part 2. Where do you want to be in 5 years?
I'm hoping that in 5 years, my middle child will be graduated and looking into trade school or something, and that I want to write a book. I want to write a couple books, but I want to write a book about my time in the life and my time in the streets. And I also want to write a book about becoming a mother and not only the challenges of motherhood, but this autism journey that I'm on with my daughter. I think when people hear autism, they think of Asperger's, or I don't think they think of people like my daughter who cannot talk, who has severe meltdowns, who sometimes doesn't sleep. I don't think people think of kids like Naomi. And I also want to advocate more for people like Naomi, because a lot of people don't realize after they turn 21, the services kind of stop in a lot of places, and there's not a lot of options for adults like Naomi that helps keep them in the home. And so I would like to write a book, and I would like to advocate more for that, because I think people need to understand some of the challenges that come with raising an autistic child, but also how brilliant they are. You know, they shouldn't be locked away in a facility or something. The world should be taught how to accept them as well as them dealing with the world. And I'm very passionate about the advocating that I do for her. I believe that since she's been in this school district, she has really changed a lot of policies, and I believe any kid that comes after her into the school system is going to have a better education because of some of the things that have changed since she's been in this school district, because they never had a kid like Naomi before we moved here.
Has she had an IEP?
Yes, we have an IEP.
Okay. Are they fully funding that?
Yes.
So you don't have any problems with the services that you've asked for?
No, they're very good about it now. In the beginning, like I said, they weren't used to a kid like Naomi, and I had to fight a lot harder when she was younger for just inclusion and stuff like that. Now that she's in high school, it's been a lot better.
Good.
And she has a great team. For a small town, she's got a great team, and she's come a long way. She really has. I'm so proud of her.
Good.
I'm proud of all my kids.
Well, anything we can do to help, we really want to help. We want to continue to help. So what would you tell Congress if they were to ask you, what can we do about kids like you? What could we have done for you and your home before you hit the streets, before you hit the group homes? What could we have done? What should we have had in place?
Well, there's so many loopholes that, how do I say this? I had so much police contact when I was a minor and still on the run, but because of some of the loopholes that they might not know about, I flew right under the radar. I was able to go to adult jails, and I was 16 the first time I went to an adult jail in Orange County, and I was booked under an adult name, and that's who I became.
So a better identification system would prevent children being put in jail, because sometimes children lie and say, I'm 18, thinking the police can't do anything. What it ends up is you end up in jail.
And that actually leads for even more complications, because like I said, that's what I did to fly under the radar so long. And now that I am an actual adult and stuff, that second identity still follows me. And yes, I think they need to fingerprint all juveniles that are in the system, because had I been fingerprinted as a juvenile, they would have known immediately when they took me to adult jail that I was a runaway.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say more accountability needs to be held for the people that manipulate and perpetrate and that buy these girls. Because they're the reason, like I said, the people that the pimps and the sometimes it's not just one person, sometimes it's a network of people.
Mm-hmm.
I think there needs to be more accountability for those type of people. And then when it comes to group home, I think there needs to be background checks for the staff members that work there. You shouldn't just be having anybody off the streets that's able to have access to these kids who have trauma and some mental illness.
Well, many people that are bad and have committed crimes and stuff, I mean, they're doing the fingerprint checks, and they may not have been caught. Because they didn't been caught or prosecuted, their fingerprints are not in the computer.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd be willing to bet that the woman that was recruiting for your pimp, that worked in the shelter, that she passed a background check. I would be willing to bet she didn't have a criminal record, and that happens. And I agree with you in terms of children. I've pulled a lot of children out of adult jail, because there's no identification. The other problem with it is that if you get booked, this may have happened to you, and they take your fingerprints and you tell them your name is something else, that's your name for the rest of your life. It's going to haunt you.
So yeah, so that's been my problem. And I just if I could tell Congress anything, it's just more advocacy and for these girls, because when I was a teenager, there wasn't a lot. I mean, your foundation was the only one that I had ever heard of. Everyone else treated me like a criminal,
Mm.
like it was my fault, and I rebelled against that. It made me even more mad, and like I said, now I have a record that follows me. That's another reason I live where I live, because they don't extradite where I live
Mm-hmm.
to the places that I have warrants in. And it's sad how bad I was able to mess up my life as a minor before I had even turned 18.
Do you have a copy of that criminal report?
I don't, but I'm sure I could get it.
I have a lawyer that works for us for free. Um, and I'm happy to take this to her. She's gotten some sealing and removal of criminal records, and even received some government pardons. Was most of it in California?
Most of it was in California and one was in Oregon.
Okay, so which is Oregon a bad one or just solicitation?
Oregon's the worst one. So
I think Oregon's where we got the government pardon. So I'm going to ask you if you want to talk to this lawyer, and then I'll ask her to call you. Do you want to do that?
yes, I would love
Okay.
to.
Okay, so let's clean that up. And I want to go back to this ID thing, because when you were juvenile hall and you were 16, or you were in adult jail and you were 16, who did they think you were, and how old did they think you were? Because you had a previous arrest that you gave them a fake ID or a fake name?
I gave him a fake name the first time I was arrested, and that's who they on a fake birthday. I think it made me, so I was 16 at the time. The fake birthday that I gave them would have made me like 23. And
Okay.
the name I gave him was Nicole Turner. It was just some name that I picked out, just made up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who I became. And then when I really did turn 18, I went, I got my actual social security and birth certificate and got a California ID. Well, then I was arrested the first time under my real name. And that's when the trouble started. Every time I had got arrested, both names would pop up
Mm-hmm.
because, and there was a couple times they didn't want to let me go because who are you? And
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I feel like I don't know how they could stop that from happening, but
We can stop that. I mean, I'm working on that. I'm trying to get in fact they did. The problem is that it did not apply to children before the date that they changed the line. So changed the law. So all of our kids have to suffer through that still.
Yeah.
But I can see that there's a lot of things we can do to continue to help you, even though you didn't stay. Um, and I wish you would have continued contact with us because we could have helped you all along.
I know it would have been easier when I was in Hollywood.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. But we're here for you. You should use that caseworker's hotline number, and to call. Um, I want to straighten out the ID. So you need the lawyer. We're going to need the therapist for your daughter, who's how old?
She's 18.
18. And we need the tutor for your young one, who's how old?
She's 15.
Did Children of the Night shelter impact your life in any way during those 3 days that you were with us? Was there anything there that sparks you?
The kindness, like I said, that always stayed with me. Like I said, you guys were probably the only people that I dealt with in those years that was kind to me, that saw me. Um, I
What about, did you meet anybody, any friends?
I do have a friend that I met there, and we stay in touch. She was on your podcast a few episodes back, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I go to Denver, I don't miss an opportunity to see her. She is very dear to my heart. I'm so proud of what she's doing, going back to school, and she's one of the only friends that I have from my past that is doing really well. And I'm really grateful for that. And when we first met, we bonded over the fact that we had both been at Children of the Night. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that just always inspired us to keep in touch with each other. And we did.
Did you ever get your high school diploma?
I did not.
Would you like to?
I would.
Well, that's what our tutoring program does.
Really.
So we're going to get you a tutor too.
That's amazing.
Okay, no, because we teach to the test, and there's 4 sections of the test, and we'll send you out once we assess you. If we think you can pass 2 or 3 of them, we're going to send you out for the test. We pay for it. We get your transportation, everything. We get you there, and then you only have to study for the parts you didn't pass.
That's amazing.
So then you just concentrate on it rather than be overwhelmed with the whole curriculum.
That's amazing. I can tell you math is probably going to be where I struggle a little bit.
Well, I just feel better that knowing that you came, you only stayed for 3 days, that now I can do it all remotely.
Thank you. That's amazing. Yes, but the kindness from everybody there, the staff members, everyone, that always stuck with me. I didn't feel like a criminal there.
Where's the kid's father now?
So he still lives in California. I cut off all contact with him about 4 years ago, when me and my partner that I'm with now, when we first got together. I just thought, I've kept contact with all these years, and for what, for why, he doesn't pay child support. He doesn't talk to the kid. The only thing he wants to ever do is try to make my life harder and stress me out. So I actually haven't had contact with him for 3 years.
Good for you.
He lives somewhere in California. Now I do keep in contact with his mom because she cares about her grandkids, but I'm limited on what I tell her because that's his mom, and I don't want him popping up at my house
Right.
but no, he lives in California somewhere, and we do not talk. My kids are number 12, 13, and 14. He has 14 children besides my children. So, yeah, I picked a real winner.
Well, you're not the only one. Many of us have done that.
But I'm grateful. My kids are nothing like their dad. They're kind. My son is kind. He's actually my shy, very good kid. My oldest, she put me through a little bit when she was in her early teens. My middle child, he is quiet. He thinks smoking cigarettes are, he tells me all the time, Mom, you need to quit smoking because, it's bad for you. And he's just my good kid. Like, he's nothing like his dad. He's kind, he's caring. I'm grateful that even though they remember him, that none of that evilness that he had with him stuck with them. And they don't ask about him or anything. They understand the situation with him. They don't want contact with him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did any of those scars from being on the streets make you a better mom?
I think so. My daughter would tell you it made me a helicopter mom, and she did not appreciate that. But
Mm-hmm.
it just made me more aware of, I mean, my daughter didn't get a cell phone till she was 16, or any access to the internet before then. I was very just cautious about the situations I allowed my kids to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because I had been victimized on the streets, by many different people, it made me not just see, the outside appearance of somebody, to really pay attention. Like the person that sexually assaulted me as a child, he was a congressman in the town, and went to church, and nobody would have ever thought someone like him, you know what I mean? But those are the people I pay the most attention to, the people that you think won't do it because they will. And I think it just made me more aware and more cautious with my children.
So how old were you when you came to the shelter? 15?
I was 16.
16. What would you tell 16-year-old Chelsea today?
I would first give her a hug
Mm,
and tell her that she needs to get into her scriptures, because God is real and God can move mountains. I would also tell her that she doesn't deserve everything, all the bad things that she thinks she deserves, that she thinks she has to go through because she thinks she's this bad, awful kid. I would tell her you're not a bad kid. And there is a life after all of this. There is a brightness. And like I said, I'd tell her God's love is real. Definitely. And I'd just hug her because I think that's really all I needed. I just needed someone to see me
mm-hmm.
and believe me. I think I struggled with that for so long. When I was able to get back in contact with my family, me and my mom we were able to reconcile that, and she did apologize to me, and that was very healing for me because I carried that for a long time. Sometimes I wondered if, because everybody had told me, oh, that didn't happen. Sometimes I would think, well, did it happen or am I
Mm-hmm.
crazy? And when she affirmed it for me, it was very healing.
When who affirmed it?
My mom, when she affirmed that,
She finally did.
yes, when she finally did, after I came back home and had, my kids and everything, we had a long talk about it and she finally affirmed it. Actually, he had been arrested a couple years after my 23rd birthday for molesting another girl.
And what did your mother say as an excuse for her behavior?
She said she didn't want to think that something like that could happen to her child and her not realize it.
Do you believe that?
Yeah, and she just had blinders on.
Mm-hmm.
I think she lived in a very safe world to where a part of her brain didn't think he was capable of something like, or someone that she would know would be capable of something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but once she told me she believed me and stuff, I was able to start the healing process of,
Mm-hmm.
because that's all I wanted was somebody to just believe me and affirm that what had happened to me shouldn't have. And that, like I said, those those are the people though. When I think about the people that I am watching out for, it's not the people that most people would suspect. It's the people that, and you see it in the news all the time too, these teachers. And I'm very just weird about my kids and who I let them around. I won't even let them have sleepovers.
I understand.
So,
Do you let other children come to your house for sleepovers?
no.
No.
I don't want no, but I let they can play, you know, go to people's houses and play and stuff like that. But no, um, I don't. Yeah, because you can't always have your eye on the situation as a parent. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that just opens the door, and it's just the door I don't want to open. So no sleepovers.
Okay. Chelsea, you told us a story about and Alex, who we interviewed before. Both of you stayed in prostitution for many, many years. And
Yes.
you said till 26. Why so long? Why didn't you bolt from that? What was your thinking?
Well, when I had kids with Richard, my thinking at first was, I want to raise my kids in a two-parent household. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have my dad growing up, so, and then, and then Richard would use the kids against me. After I had gotten warrants and things like that, he would tell me, if you try to leave, I will turn you in for your warrant and I'll take the kids and you'll never see them. And I believed
Mm-hmm.
him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it wasn't until I got my daughter's diagnosis of autism. I got it there at the regional center. And that's when I started really just thinking, you know, like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I have a disabled child. My children are starting to get older. I can't hide this forever. And the abuse I was suffering every day, I really was afraid that he would accidentally kill me.
Did they witness the abuse?
Yes, they did.
Okay, all three of them.
Yes, although I will say, Junior and my youngest were 5 and 6 when we left. My middle child, he says he doesn't really remember that much about California. Now
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's because he's just blocked all that shit out because it was bad, or if he just truly doesn't remember because he was so young.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, they did witness the abuse, and
Maybe we could have all three children screened by Dr. Irwin. Let me think about that.
so, but after that, I just told myself I had to make a decision and I had to make it right then. And I was terrified. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I mean, the apartment was mine, but I knew I couldn't stay there because he would just follow me. So I packed all my stuff in 9 suitcases, all the stuff I could carry, and we left. And I had to start completely over with 3 small babies. But it was the best thing. I always tell people God delivered me out of that situation. God is the one that gave me the strength
Mm-hmm.
to call the police that day because that was totally out of my character. I'd never called the cops on him before or anything, but that was God.
Your children were really a motivating factor for you to move on, right?
They
I
were.
mean, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
They are my motivation for everything. Being a mom has been one of the greatest joys of my life. And especially, you know, I always tell people, my friends, you know, I'm not ever going to be an empty nester because I have my youngest. She's always going to live with me. And I'm kind of happy about that because, you know, I know people get sad when their kids move out and she's going to be my baby forever. I'm always going to have a little sidekick. And I said, being a mom is amazing. And I'm just grateful that I was able to put my kids first finally and put myself first finally and get out of that situation. And I haven't looked back since.
Good for you. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I would like to add just to anybody, any girls watching this, there is life after all of that. There can be a good life, a good peaceful life, and get the help. Reach out to someone, talk to someone. The help is there if you reach out and take it. And I would just say thank you for trying to reach me as a troubled youth. Like I said, the program always stuck with me, and I'm grateful. That's what led me to watch your podcast, and that's why I'm here now. I want to inspire people to live a better life and to know that they can and they're worthy. They're worthy of love and they're worthy of good things in a good life.
Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking to me today and sharing your intimate story. And I'm glad that I have an opportunity to help you. I'm going to help you a lot, I promise you. As soon as I hang up
Thank
this
you so
phone,
much.
you have the 800 number. I suggest you call tomorrow when I'm fully staffed. There's people there that can help you. But if you call earlier, like Melissa's here from 7 to 3, I'd really like you to get with the director of case management. And so all the different issues, she can send it out of how she wants it handled.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And then you don't hesitate, to send me messages and let me know what's going on.
I will.
If you don't have my contact information, ask them to give it to you or ask me permission to give it to you or whatever it is they do to protect me.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm so happy for the opportunity to help you a second time. We're going to do this.
Thank you. It's a blessing. You are a blessing, and the work you do is amazing.
And you are a blessing too. Don't ever forget that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for walking beside me and never giving up on America's children. If you want to support our mission, go to childrenofthenight.org and make a gift today. Please like and subscribe to our podcast. Many more episodes will follow.